So if you guys have been following along on my journey on my channel over the past year or two, you guys know I have been trying AI once in a while. And for example, like when Copilot first came out, I tried it out and it wasn't that good. And I'm like, this kind of sucks. But in reality, if I actually zoomed out and thought a little bit harder about the implications of LLMs churning out code and replacing the manual labor of having to write code, I probably would have taken it more seriously and followed along with AI changes and model changes a lot more. I think one of the reasons I didn't was I felt threatened by AI. I almost felt like I was going through some type of existential crisis in terms of like my career in the past, 12 years of experience I've gained learning how to write code and design code and whatnot, basically replaced overnight with these systems that can automatically plan all these features. I want to say replaced overnight, but I mean, the progress that these LLMs are making, like I've been basically going all in with Claude Code. Like at this point, I've had like 6 terminals all concurrently modifying a code base by one terminal modifying badges, one modifying a leaderboard page, one adding a messaging system, one adding notifications. And they basically just one-shot all these features. Like I just ask it to plan out in a giant feature. I give it the ultra think keyword. I let it think for 5 minutes. I come back and I say, hey, just implement it now. And then I go and drink some water, come back, and I have this whole feature that 90% of the time it works. Like sometimes I get little bugs and I'll just copy the error and paste it back in and it fixes it. But from 2 years ago, like when, the new models were coming out, I didn't really take them too seriously because I always felt like, I'm a senior engineer. I can write code better than these AI tools can. But now I think I've reached a point where the existential dread is over. Like I'm just embracing the fact that agentic coding is the future. And whether you're a junior, a mid, or a senior, like if you don't embrace these tools, you're going to be left behind. Now, I'm not saying that because it's a cliche thing to say, but if one developer on your team can churn out a ton more features than you because you're just reluctant to use AI or your company's reluctant to use it, and there are good reasons to have reluctancy, right? Security reasons are probably the number one concern of letting these LLMs just traverse your code base, maybe find your secret.env files and steal your keys. But I think a lot of the people who are hesitant about AI and agentic coding either haven't tried it to build out web applications. That's where it really thrives from what I've seen. So over the past week or so, I want to walk you through some projects that I've been just using agentic coding to build out. So one of them was a collaborative whiteboard application where users can basically sign in here and they can all modify a whiteboard, kind of like Eraser or Excalidraw, and you can share the boards with other people. And then multiple users can connect to this server. This is like a WebSocket server behind the scenes that's kind of getting this all going. And I would say that I probably only touched 2 to 5% of the code base here. Like this was all basically vibe coded, like the entire board, the shapes, drawing text, the lines, all this stuff was just me prompting either Claude or Cursor, and it just added the feature. And you might look at this and be like, this is just a prototype. Like this isn't actually anything serious. But I think when you become better at providing context to the agents and become better at documenting your code changes and generating like markdown files that explain your business logic and explain the technical decisions that you made on your project, and then you get good at prompting these agents and saying, hey, we're about to make a UI change. Let's just go ahead and drag in the design documentation here. So it knows to use my app.cs file or my Tailwind CS file and use my global CSS variables. The results you get just get better as you just learn how to give better context. So this is one app that I've vibe coded. We have another app. My daughter asked for a e-commerce site where she could sell her artwork. Don't judge her drawings. I told her she needs to actually put a little bit more effort into her drawings if she expects people to buy these. But this whole thing, literally vibe coded in an afternoon, like hooked in the Stripe. They can add stuff. I have an admin dashboard. She can log in and actually modify the stuff. Okay, we've got an admin panel over here. She can see the orders that came in. This is all hooked in the Stripe, by the way. She can add artwork. When people actually log in and add stuff to a cart, like, let me sign out real quick. I'm going to go to the gallery. Let's click take this home, add it to the cart. I'm going to go over here to the checkout page. We're going to go ahead and proceed the checkout. That's going to open up Stripe. It already has those 2 things with images there. The point I'm trying to make was like that was all vibe coded in like 4 or 5 hours after work using Claude Code. Yes, it's a super simple project, but I think just gauge your expertise. How long would it have taken you to code that by hand? And unless you're already like a 10x developer who's like been coding for 10 plus years in an industry, The point I'm trying to make is like someone who absolutely has no idea how to code, or maybe very, very little coding, could have done what I just did with that e-commerce site. Here's the last example I'll give, because again, these are all projects I tried vibe coding with Cursor and Claude over the past like week. Here's a mentorship type of application to help developers be better. All right, let me go ahead and log in. I'm going to show you everything I vibe coded. So when you first log in, I got an onboarding experience. You can pick if you're a mentee or mentor. And then you can go and enter information in your display picture. Again, all vibe coded. Let's just pick a random picture I have. Here we go. Click continue. That gets uploaded to R2. I can say how many years of experience the person has. I can select some skills. Just go ahead, go next. I can say I'm looking for work. I can put some GitHub links, whatever. And then we're going to go to submitting requests. So like as a user, maybe a junior dev, I can go and upload a resume review. So I'm going to go ahead and just say like, let's find my resume over here. And we can pick a priority, right? I do plan to maybe add in a SaaS premium feature where like if you pay monthly, you can have high priority requests. I don't know. I'm just playing around with Claude Code right now. So now I just submitted a request. And if I click this, this will open up a modal that'll view my resume in an iframe. Again, this resume is on R2. But now the cool part is I can go through here and I can find a mentor and message them directly. So let's go here. I'm going to send a message. Hey, what is up? Testing. Go ahead and send a message to that mentor. I got a profile page with experiences. And this mentor, basically, you can see information about the profile and what level they are. You can see what projects they've completed. I'm trying to add in some coding projects and that mentors have to review the project so you can actually get marked project as completed here. And I have a whole badge system basically set up where when you first upload your first request, this was supposed to give you a badge. I don't know why that didn't work. Again, it's a teeny little bug there. I have a kudos system, so you can give kudos to people. And once you give them kudos, they will show up at the top of the leaderboard based on how much kudos they have. I got a whole messaging system so people can message each other. I got a notification system, so when certain things happen that are associated with the request you just did, you'll get a notification. You can go and view your requests. I can make a new one, or I can go ahead and view the details here. Let me log out and log in as a mentor. So over here we have, the admin avatar dropdown. I can switch over to light mode. Everything's in light mode, by the way, which AI did. I got that message that I got from that user. They said, what is up? I can see their information. I can mark it as read. I could delete it if I want to. I can switch between a mentor or a mentee view. So like if I have one user who wants to actually like learn and mentor others, maybe they could do both. Let's go to the mentor view. And then here I can see all the pending requests. So I see this resume review request that just got uploaded. As a mentor, I can go and view the details. I can claim this request. And now that's added to my own work queue, and I guess you could kind of say, where I can go through here. I can review it. I'll leave a comment. This looks, okay, let's just go ahead and submit that. And then if I log back out and log in as Tina, we would see this response. I think you'd also get a notification. Like, let's just go ahead and log out real quick. Oh, I can mark it as complete. So now that gets removed from the pending request so that other mentors don't see it. And then also I get some credit for reviewing that. Some of these items actually have to go to a site admin for a final review. So like me, I would have to go and make sure that I review it before I give you guys credits or kudos or extra experience, because again, we do have this whole experience concept. And now I have a notification. It says a new response to your request. Let's click it. That's a bug that should take you to the request. Let's go over here. And Cody Cyber has replied to your ASDF request. Click to respond. That takes you to the request. I can see a comment. I don't know. Let that sink in. It sinks in for me. I think this is amazing. I don't think one developer alone could have added all this functionality in a day of work. And the fact is I'm just now starting to use Claude Code. Like I literally just signed up for the Claude Max subscription, so I'm paying $100 a month. I haven't even hit a limit yet of how many times I can prompt this thing. And I got to the point now where like the code base is large enough where I can have 6 different terminals open, and I'm planning out various features in all these different terminals, and I'm fixing small bugs in other terminals, and they're all running concurrently over my code base. And like, if you look at the code changes that I had, this is just one commit of a lot more changes. Like technically AI could have just made that commit for me and pushed it up to my repo, but I don't know. I guess I just reached the point now where I'm kind of all in on agentic coding. And especially for web development, like if you're not doing this to build out features, Yeah, I don't know, coming to stand up every day and saying I'm still working on something, like, at some point, it's not gonna cut it anymore, because when you can see someone on YouTube build this entire application in a day of vibe coding, people are gonna start wondering, "Why is it taking you 3 days to add a leaderboard when this guy I'm watching can add it in one system prompt?" I even have the ability to add in, like, new tags. What is up? Let's click on this one. Okay. What is up? Category, language, create skill. Okay, there, I just added a skill. Let's save those changes. And now those should show up on my profile. What is up is a language. Yeah, I don't know what to say at this point. If my whole channel just pivots and focuses on agentic coding, don't be surprised. I'll still probably do like high-level overview videos and diagrams because I do think it is important to teach at a higher level. But I think we might reach a phase soon where the actual physical art of coding and being proficient at typing on your keyboard is going to go away. Like, you guys can cope and say this is for a small, stupid little MVP side project. Even today at work, like, I needed to rewrite a big integration test that's causing some flakiness on our CI/CD pipeline. I needed to rewrite it in a Cypress test. I literally took the whole test and I said, "Hey, Cursor, rewrite this in Cypress." And Cursor figured out in my code base all my existing Cypress helper functions that we have, because we have like hundreds of Cypress tests. It rewrote the entire test using all those Cypress helper functions. And I just had to fix a couple of bugs. And something that would have taken probably a whole day of work, like writing a Cypress test, going and clicking through the UI, asserting things happened, basically now reduced down to like an hour or less of work. But that's just one example. I mean, I have like tons of examples. I have other projects I have been vibe coding on over the past like year, like the writing platform one, my personal web dev Cody site, the suggestion site. I use agentic coding for basically every feature that was added to this and got it deployed out there. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not some random person on Reddit who made a post saying Cursor and Claude is good. I'm a developer, I've been doing this for 12 years, and I'm seeing Claude code and Cursor generate more code than I have ever done in my whole life in like 5 minutes of prompting than I could have done in a week or even like 2 weeks. I guess you could argue that maybe I suck as a developer, but I'm not sure if that's true because I don't know why else people would subscribe and watch me. So I guess take my $100 a month Anthropic. I'm basically now going to be an agentic coder, and yeah, I guess I'll keep you updated on some tips and tricks I find along the way, but don't expect me to make a old school tutorial where I'm talking you through how to create a toast and how to import ShadCN. Like, I think those days are going to quickly disappear soon, and becoming an agentic coder is probably the future. Let me know your comments on anything I said. Maybe my opinions are wrong, but for smaller projects, like, this is just a no-brainer. By the way, if this dev jumpstart thing seemed like a cool idea, let me know. I want to build this out and actually try to make this a real product, so that if you're trying to learn how to code, maybe you can come in here, request some feedback, do a one-on-one call. Maybe this is just another stupid side project that I'm going to abandon. But I really wanted to push the boundaries of Claude Code and see how well it did. And so far, I'm pretty blown away. All right, have a good day and happy vibing.